PES fans, we are here. We've spoke about it. It's a rare thing here. It's not just a podcast from one channel. It's a podcast from 1, 2, 3, 4 different channels. But the one thing in common, we all love PES. I'm Sonny Sangera. I am joined by Barry from PES Universe. How you doing, Barry?
Good, man. I'm good. Looking forward to a bit of chat about PES and talking with the boys. So yeah, thanks for having me.
Excellent. I'm also joined by Nico from WENB and NextGenBase. You represent so many things, dude. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Yeah, you know, got my finger in lots of different pies. Sometimes when I can be bothered.
Well, we've got somebody on this chat who thinks you're Judas, and that is Ash. How you doing, Ash? You good?
I'm good.
Excellent.
Yeah. I'll allow him for today. I'll allow him for the
Yeah,
podcast.
please, man. I'm not hurting too.
If listeners are thinking, what are they talking about? Obviously, if you're not aware, Nico is half Italian, half English, so he was conflicted to next levels last night. Nico, where were you watching the game last night? And obviously, I'm referring to the European Championship finals.
I made a strategic decision to watch it by myself, alone at home, because well, my missus was here as well, but I didn't know how I was going to respond to the game, and I didn't want people around me just in case. So.
Safest bet.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And Barry, what about yourself? I mean, you've been like traveling non-stop and working.
Yeah, the only thing I saw was I was literally boarding a flight when England scored, like Luke Shaw scored, and then just about 10 minutes before we landed, I just heard it on the intercom. It was like, "Oh, Italy have won on penalties." So that was all I heard. I didn't see any of the game, but I watched it today. But yeah, it was that's as much as I saw of it last night. So.
The absolute shithousery of someone to put it over an intercom. Italy have won, right?
He sounded
That's
happy, to be fair. He sounded happy. I mean, he was Irish, so he was an Irish pilot, so I don't, you know what I mean?
I wouldn't be surprised if he had like the Italian colours coming out the back of the plane. You know?
They're close to the Irish ones.
And where were you watching the game, Ash?
Oh mate, I had an absolute nightmare. I almost got stranded in Sheffield of all places. No one ever wants to be there. I was dropping my son back, and then so I was supposed to come back and just watch it in the comfort of my own home. 2 trains got cancelled back to back, so I had to whip the tablet out and try and get a decent signal, watch it on the iPlayer app. And by the time I got home, it just started the penalties, so it was
God,
stressful.
So.
I bet you just like creaked the door a bit and said, "I'll watch it through the crack. It's fine. It's 2-minute bracket to watch, right?" You know, that's what I was like in the Europa League final.
It was stressful. It was definitely stressful.
I had when the penalty started. You know, when your TV's been on for too long, you get that message saying it's going to automatically turn off in 30 seconds.
Yeah,
I got that message when the penalties were just about to start. I was like, "Where's the remote?" Like,
That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Well,
you were in a win-win situation, Nico. I mean, come on.
I know. It was a weird.
Look at him pretending like he was stressed.
Yeah,
He's
stressed, and he's like,
what if we win or if we win? Oh.
It was weird for me because my heart was obviously bleeding for England. We wanted England to win, but my wallet was screaming for Italy at the beginning of the tournament. I chucked 20 quid on Italy to win, right? And I've chucked 20 on Italy, 10 on France, and 5 on Germany. So Italy got to the final, but I was ready for England, and I had my unused Europa League final flares ready. They still didn't get used. They're gathering dust now. So
commiseration flares.
That's it. You know, I was like, what? I was like, oh look, it's too dark. I can't flight it. Don't worry. But we're here to talk about PES. This is the PES Supplement, where we can get together when we can talk about PES. So before we get into that, just a bit of substance. Ash, where was your introduction to ISS or Winning 11 or Pro Evolution Soccer?
It was relatively late compared to like what everyone else's is going to be. I think I was 13 or 14. I moved to go and live with my pops, and my big brother lived there anyway, and he was the Pro Evo guy, or so we thought. And then I showed up and got my ass handed to me for about 2 years until I got to his level. I grew up a FIFA kid, and he had the PlayStation. I was like, "Oh, you got a FIFA?" He's like, "Nah, I got Pro." It's like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, Pro." it's like, grab a pad, I'll slap it in, slapped it in. And from then I was just like, this is different gravy. We had all the I live in a place called Northfield. You're gonna hear sirens. Yeah, it still had the didn't have an optional file, so it was all the botched kits, all of the North London red. Yeah, but then from then I've just been absolutely hooked, especially on Master League. Master League is my thing all the way through to content creation days. Yeah, I've done a bit of the My Club stuff, but primarily Master League has been my thing, just all the way from PES 4 was my first one. Absolutely fell in love with 5 and 6. And 2009 really got me through uni as well. Like that was a good Master League year. But yeah, that's how I got into it.
Excellent. Barry, what about yourself?
Yeah, I'd say I first started playing. My older brother got me into it. I'd say back in, I'd say the first PES on PS2, so Pro Evo 1 on the PS2. Yeah. I don't really remember that too much. I probably would have been a bit too young. I just remember losing to him all the time, like what Ash was saying there, getting spanked, you know, taking my punishment, learning my lessons. But yeah, I'd say it was probably about PES, similar to Ash there, and probably Nico as well. But it was probably PES 3, 4, 5. That was my main ones, and then more so probably PES like 12 onwards. Then that I really started to kind of get involved with the community. You know, the rest was just playing on my own or playing with friends. So I think I started off with PES Game, and I started writing like a few things for them. And then obviously Nico and the boys had kind of paved the way, like, you know, and Asim and Adam with their content. So that was kind of what got me into it. And then, yeah, I'd say it was around then that I really started enjoying like getting to know different people, you know. So that was probably my first memories. But yeah, since then it's just been kind of like staying involved, doing as much as I can. And I mean, it's hard at times, you know, because it's PES, you know, it means a lot to us, but it has a lot of issues. So you can be kind of, you know, sometimes
it's a love-hate relationship for us all.
It is, man. Yeah, it's a love-hate relationship. I think we all have with it. So yeah, but that was kind of my story so far, you know.
Listen, I've been married for 11 years and 2 weeks, and PES is more stressful than a marriage for that long. You know, it's crazy. But Nico, what about yourself? How did you get into the franchise?
So my first memories, and Sonny, you might remember this more than others, was like the arcade machines with ISS on, where, you know, super basic controls. They were little blockheads, but that was sort of like the first introduction to Konami football that I had. But as Barry said, you know, PES 3 was the first one that I sort of started going hard on. You'd get the stars above your badge if you sort of had a custom badge every time you won a league, which I always loved. So I was like just counting the stars, like, it was little things like that just made me fall in love with it, compared to FIFA, where everything was so like locked in. You know, you couldn't edit things. You just played what you saw, you know, on TV essentially. But PES felt different. It felt like you could make it your own game. You could put your own teams in there, and, you know, you start a Master League as the Master League players, you know, not any old club, and you got to work your way up. It just had a magic to it.
Shout out to Costello. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Don't forget Himalayas. Don't forget Himalayas. He's got the shirt. My guy.
After represent, like, you know.
It's mad how that starting 11 has its own place in so many people's hearts, and they never existed in real life.
What people don't realize is PES technically was one of the great, like, the innovation RPG games, because you upgraded those characters, right? You know,
absolutely. That was a football RPG, 100%. 100%. Everyone knows that formation as well. Everyone knows that, despite the fact that everyone can play that Master League however they want, for every single person, Dodo was a get the man first, get the ball second. Defensive midfielder.
That's it.
There's nothing that tells you have to play with him that way.
I know.
But you never stand in tackle. It's always, right, I've got Dodo on pressing circle, and someone is dying.
That's it.
That 3-5-2 is iconic. It didn't work as a formation, but we stuck with it.
Yeah.
Like, it was,
That's it, man. That's it.
So iconic.
that was the stuff that made me fall in love with PES. And then sort of, as Barry's alluded to, I got involved with the community. I don't remember which PES it was. I remember going to Adam's house to play a preview of one of the PESs on PS3 quite early on. And sort of since then, I was involved with WNB with Adam and Asim, and they obviously went on to do their thing. And WENB has been quite quiet, but over at NextGenBase, we still cover PES. But I think, as you will all probably acknowledge, for my own mental health, you have to take a step away sometimes from the game, from the community.
Yes.
It's not an easy community to be a part of sometimes.
No, it's understandable.
So it's quite one. But I've actually quite enjoyed the year off, so to speak. They released the game, but it was last, the year before.
Yeah, it's a good time.
It's the same game, to be fair. So I've not really touched it, and I know we'll talk about it later, but I'm quite excited for what we might see.
For me, it was a weird one because I lived in Scotland at the time when the PlayStation came out, and there was no game or electronic boutique where we lived. There was just this dodgy shop called Megatronics where my dad got a PlayStation from. And he came home with a football game. He's like, obviously, we were like, I want FIFA. He came back with an International Superstar Soccer Deluxe. I was like, what is this? But you play it, you love it. And I played that along with, like the FIFA game. I mean, you can't go wrong with FIFA Road to the World Cup 98. I loved that game.
Oh my God, that game was amazing.
Exactly.
The soundtrack.
So good. Exactly. You know what I mean? And then obviously moving on to, I didn't get anything. I think, we had it on the 64. But then it was really when International Superstar Soccer came out on the PlayStation, and then ever since then that was it. Like FIFA was like bye,
dead.
And we're just playing it. I do like, we did play 2001 before PES came out on the PS2, but it was revolutionary then. But there was a reason I wanted to go backwards, because obviously in this episode we're looking forwards, and the thing, we've got a bit of substance on that because we had the new football experience, an online performance test of new football game. So I mean, where it was a shadow drop, you could say. Konami were taking a page out of another one of their IPs with Solid Snake, and just sliding in without you even knowing. But I mean, Barry, what was your thoughts on how it was all unveiled and how the new football game, the performance test just came out of the blue for everybody?
I thought it was perfect, man. Perfect marketing. No, it was disappointing. I mean, it's a hard one. It's a hard one to talk about because, like any lads I've talked to, it's kind of, we don't really know like what side of the coin it's going to flip to until the game actually comes out and we see, okay, was this actually part of the plan all along, or was it just, were we just guinea pigs that we were just meant to test the game? And this is pretty much like not final code. I know it's not final code, obviously it's meant to test the online, but I can understand why a lot of people would feel like this is going to be more close to launch, a launch title than like, what Konami are saying. But it's a hard one to answer. I like the idea of it because the biggest problem PES has had since it's moved on from being like, an offline centric game to like My Club and online. And to be honest with you, I mean, PES is a completely different franchise now than when we all started playing. You know what I mean? It's not PES
absolutely.
Anymore. Like, it's a completely different game, and that's
eFootball.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason why. You know what I mean? They've branded it that way, and I think a lot of people that love, you know what I mean, a lot of people that love PES from back in the day, and we have all memories about it, like still think of PES as that, like a Master League where you can have 10 seasons with loads of crazy stuff happening and like iconic moments and all that. Whereas now the iconic moments are in My Club, you know what I mean? And it's all geared towards like, a casual fan base kind of coming along. But like, I don't think that's a bad thing. And I don't think that this online beta was a bad thing. I know everyone probably watching is like, well, not everyone, but a lot of people be like, oh, it was shit. Like, you need to call it out and all that. But like, if it was meant to be an online test, I think it provided that function. I think it was quite good. I mean, I played like a good lot of games. Gameplay wise, it's nowhere near, a sports title or a football title. Like if it was to release in its current state now, I mean, I don't think any of us would agree that it's, it's nowhere near.
No.
But I think for an online beta test, like, I good connection and stuff like that. But again, I mean, do I agree that they should have released it this way? I mean, probably not, you know, waiting a week to put it up on socials, you know, to try the debate and stuff. I think they should just have embraced it, you know, and just come out and said, like, look, we want you guys to test the online infrastructure. Like, we're going in a different direction, and, you know, let it be what it was going to be. So, but it is a hard one. I mean, everyone probably have a different opinion, but I just wish that they'd handle it a little bit better. But saying that, if the online is brilliant this year in my club, like, then I think it would be a good idea. So it's a hard one. It's a hard one for me, you know, to kind of think what they were doing with that. If it is exactly what it says on the tin, that they were just testing online, I know a lot of people were getting bent out of shape with the survey that came out. There was a survey that came out, and it was like all about gameplay. And what I was told was that it was more about the actual, you know, the latency and stuff like that affects gameplay more so than the gameplay, which the boys will probably talk about as well. But yeah, I mean, it was a strange decision, but I think in hindsight, we might look back and think, yeah, it was actually good that they've cracked on with the online, put that at the forefront. They're embracing what they are now, which is an online focused game. And us older fans, you know, like, I don't know. I mean, need to move with the times is probably, you know, it probably something. But at the same time, I can understand why that's not good enough for some people either, you know. So it's a hard one.
Yeah. Ash, you're very centered around socials and media channels and communicating with the people that are in your community. Do you think, you know, like a small press release to set expectations to the PES community about what was going to happen would have made a big difference on that initial reaction?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, end of question. No, yes. It's something that, as long as I've kind of been involved in the kind of the community side of the game and the content creating side of things, it's something that Konami have been continually quite bad at, and that's even with, you know, personal friends of mine having worked the communication channels and knowing how those processes are. There is a real disconnect between the company and its customers, essentially, which I don't think there is a single business model in the world where that's a good thing. And literally shadow dropping a test, I can kind of understand why, because if they say, you know, hey, play the new game early, we're testing out the online, people are going to forget the second half of that sentence to be like, hey, this is the new pro, which people were. And, you know, I mean, to an extent, yeah, we got a completely new gameplay system, which it's the
first on PS5 as well, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So people are going to run away with that and be like, oh my God, this is what the new pro is like. And obviously they know it's not. It's basically the equivalent of being in preseason and not being match fit. Like, that is not what you want to take into a title challenge at all. They know that, so they obviously didn't want to put it out as that. So, I mean, I didn't find out about it until my mate David Fish, the streamer, he went on one of his David Fish rants, and I was like, wait, what the hell's going on here? At first I was like, wait, has there been like a play test or something? And Konami didn't shout me. I was like, hold on, I'm in my feelings here. Yeah, then I realized what was going on. But I if I hadn't seen that, I wouldn't have known at all.
It's like a transformer toy, isn't it? You know what I mean? Just quick one, shout out to David. He's good at rants. He's an Arsenal fan, so he's got to be good at them.
Exactly. But yeah, like, the Konami have got to get better at communication. They're obviously got to get better at making the games as well, but communication will ease that process. Communication will give you the sort of patience that they need from their community at this point in time, and also would, you know, let people know what to expect. Like, yeah, it's an online test purely to test the net code. Obviously, they're doing something different behind the scenes, which people have been screaming about forever. So, on the face of that, that's a great thing that they're actually being proactive with that for once. Why would you not say that? Mm-hmm. You haven't. That's an easy win from my viewpoint. Obviously, I don't work for them. I'm not in their communication channels, but from where I'm sitting and my experiences, you're literally doing something that people have asked for. You're a company that people, whether rightly or wrongly, believe that Konami don't listen to their audience and just put out what they want. You're literally doing the opposite of what that narrative is. Take the win. Mm-hmm. As cynically as it could be, you should really want to communicate because it's the right thing to do with your customers. But even if you don't care about that, take the win, take the PR win of, hey, we're doing the thing you've asked us to do for the last 6 years. We're doing it now, and we're letting you be a part of it from effectively ground zero. We're going to take your feedback, your gameplay data, and we're going to use this to try and improve upon the one of the main things you've had a problem with for so long. Why they chose not to is entirely beyond me. But not to rag on them too much, I'm still glad that they did it. Did I enjoy the overall experience? Not so much. That was more of a gameplay thing. The fact that they're trying to sort out the online experience, and this is for me as someone who the vast majority of my gameplay I'm pro is not online. I'm a Master League player, but it's not about me. It's about the overall bigger picture. It's a good thing that they did it. They just, I don't know what it is about Konami and communication. Maybe they communicated that better over in Japan, and maybe it's just in the West we get less communication. I don't know, but it's baffling.
Before we get into gameplay, Nico, again, you're very acute with social media. What was your? Obviously it came out. Obviously, word spread around that there was a performance test, and there was a gap, wasn't there, from the community talking about it before an official statement or anything came from Konami, wasn't there?
Big gap. I think the points the guys have made are really solid points, right? They all make sense. There was a moment when I saw it, sort of, people talking about it on Twitter, where I went, oh, this is intriguing. And I had already gone to bed. I was on my phone just scrolling, but I stayed up probably for an hour just looking through the screenshots people were posting, the videos people were posting. Like, there was a little buzz, which I hadn't felt for a while. I don't think that was intentional. I don't think they meant for that to happen. but I did feel it. Of course they should have communicated it, right? They should have said, like the guy said, a week before, in 7 days' time, we're going to have an online test that's going to be available to whoever wants to do it. Call it an open beta, call it whatever you want, and let people feel like they're involved in how this game is going to develop. But state, because we still don't, personally, I don't think the gameplay that's in this is going to be anything close to what we see on the 27th. Because what I thought was cool was they had in the boarding, they said full announcement 27th of July, which I thought that's kind of cool, right? You play the game, you sort of get that little Easter egg in there, what's coming next. This, what they're showing here though, aside from what looks like the presentation of the game, like that, there's a lot of new presentation aspects in there, which obviously I think will come because they were quite good. The gameplay won't be anything close to this. So I'm not, like, I played it, I'm just not taking into account what I played. I just don't think it's going to be representative of what it didn't feel like a finished game by far. It was really janky to play. Animations weren't smooth. It just didn't look good. So yeah, but in terms of the communication, of course they should have communicated it better. I think Ash mentioned it. I think the disconnect comes from Japan. I guarantee you that the guys and girls over at Konami are pulling their hair out, saying, "Let us tell people about this. You know, just let me throw a tweet out there. Let me say, go download it. It's there now. You know, like go test the online." And they're being told no. You know, and through all of my experience and everything that I've heard about how the way that Japan communicates with Windsor, it's always like this. You know, it has been like this for such a long time, and it's the single biggest source of the frustration for the community. You know, there are some amazing people working over at Windsor who take massive amounts of stick because of what they're told what to do and what not to do by Japan. And you know, you said we can go all in on this, Sonny, so I'm
no, listen, it's fine.
Even me, I'm holding back.
I don't want holdbacks here. And I totally understand what you're saying. Like, I like one thing Barry said is like, if the intention was to surprise everybody, then that's okay, that's great. But there's two things.
Put something out quickly then after.
Exactly, because what they allowed is they allowed the community to control the narrative on it. So whether it was positive or negative, that's a luxury.
And it was negative.
Exactly. And
it was negative because it will be with this community.
Shock. Yeah, exactly.
And you know, it is, people think this is the game.
Exactly. So you've lost the control of that. And then more importantly, perception is reality. So the people who are out of the community looking in at PES, people who are waiting for FIFA 22, who are fed up with FIFA 21, who may be playing eFootball, who are like, oh wait, there is a new demo. They're not really into all the communication on these games, are like, oh yeah, but I heard it's bad. I mean, Birmingham is like a hub for Pro Evolution Soccer. It has been for a very long time. But there's a lot of people that I know up here who they don't check Twitter, they don't check Instagram. They're just like, yo, when's the new game out? I want to play it. And they were saying I was getting messages saying, oh, I heard PES 2022's like this and that. And they're hearing it from other people, you know, there was no control on that side. And it was,
I had very similar. And I felt like I needed to do my part as a member of this community to try and back Konami up to a degree and say, you know, I don't think this is the game we're gonna see on the 27th. You know,
you're brave man, Nico.
Well, you know what happens when people do that, right? Because people then say you're getting paid by Konami and this.
Oh
and
that's
the problem. I think a lot of the time as well is that like people, like, even though the amount of like questions I got is exactly as you said, Nico, like, you know, they couldn't have made the actual what they released, right? The actual beta themselves or whatever they were calling it. The online test, they couldn't have made that clearer when you downloading it. Like they couldn't have made it clearer. Generic, you know, placeholder, like a luminous blinding light green background. No Brandon, no PES, no Konami. I mean, like Nico's on brand there. I mean, they couldn't have made it clearer once you downloaded it, you played it. The only reference was in the description of what it was, that it was from Konami and it was using Unreal. But again, that's only one part of it, and the other part should have been just a tweet, as Shogun said, just a tweet, pop it out and say, listen, lads, we're doing a test. It's not representative of the final quality. You're going to have guys, no matter how many times you tell them, this is like PES 22 is dead to them now, because this is what the game is going to be. And it's like, no, we fell for this before, you know, the demos back at E3 and this. That narrative is there. I do,
and
agree.
rightfully so. Rightfully so, though.
It's earned. It is earned.
That's a fair point. But as you said, Sonny, like there is, you know, that narrative there that like when you say something good about it, it's very hard being in the community. Like I love the community. I love PES. And like it's very hard to kind of, as Nico was saying there, it's very hard to come out and say, listen, just think logically about this. And it's like, no. Nah, we don't want to think logically about this. It's like,
logic, that, I've got rage.
And I think like people that play PES are not just guys that go on Twitter and tweet about it. Like there's a big group of PES that are like, they might play PES as part of their gaming routine, the same way as I play Warzone. You know, I'm not involved in any Call of Duty community. Like I'm not passionate about COD or Warzone, but I still, you know, if I come home from work for an hour and I want to chill out with the lads on, you know, just on chat or whatever, I do it. I'm not putting up like tweets the fucking Treyarch like, you ruined the game with the gun, or you changed the balancing of this gun. Like, but with PES, I would do that. You know, I'd be passionate. So I can understand people's perception of it, but yeah, I mean, as the lad said, it's a hard one. It's just the start of a new generation as well, and you kind of want to, you know, hit the ground running. And I think this is going to be, you know,
and
I think it's worth. Like, I think there was some
exactly.
Yeah, I think there was some nice stuff in it, as Nico said, the presentation and stuff. But like, I think that this game is. I mean, PES changes with every data pack currently in PES 2021. So the fact that if you were to think about it logically, that they're going to release this in this state, it just doesn't make any sense.
No chance whatsoever. And it's weird though as well, because if you go onto the website, things they could have put into the demo, like the FA, they've got an FAQ section where they're answering questions that the community were asking. Put that on one of the screens. You know, you do that, and we have to keep tapping X when we're trying to play eFootball 2021 just to get to the main menu. Put that in the online performance test. Let them read it. Let them see it. Even though they might read it, they might not. But you just covering your own back.
Pop it in.
Giving us as much information as possible. But Ash, this is going to be interesting because you've already hinted about gameplay. So you've obviously played it. How much have you played it? Obviously, 24th and the 8th.
Not a whole lot. I could probably count on both hands the amount of games I played on it. Mostly because it kind of did my part in terms of providing them some data, but this is going to have very little effect on me. I'm probably not going to play the game online that much unless it's phenomenal. Then I might jump back on some My Club. But I'm a Master League player. So for me, I realized that I was giving myself a false window into what the gameplay was going to be like, because that's what I care about, because that's my entire experience. What's it going to be like playing Master League for hours and hours on end, completely ignoring my real life relationships and trying to get this, you know, this young striker to be a Ballon d'Or winner. I'm not getting a proper accurate representation of that. That being said, I played enough to get grips with the new gameplay features. But with it being so unfinished, I kind of want to reserve judgment. But I will say this, I didn't enjoy my experience with it at all. It was smooth. But as in like the connection wise, but gameplay wise, absolutely not. That being said, I've had time to kind of step away from it, look back at it, also go and look at the documentation for it as well. And a lot of the features in there, whilst they felt bad whilst I was playing it, are features that if they polish them, could make the gameplay a lot better going forward. Particularly the defending. They've got it's not even a new defensive feature because it's something they had, I believe, I want to say 2014, PS3 era, where your defending wasn't hold X and fly into your opponent at 20 miles an hour. It was you kind of jockey and predict where they're going to go, and you can either close down or you can stand off. That's back. And I think, I don't know if you remember that far back, Nico, but the first PES day where, God, we were testing for, was it 2016? I think it was.
I think you're right.
And we were in that basement in Windsor, and I asked for that to come back. So I'm delighted to see that back in. Didn't feel great playing it, but I think a lot of this stuff's going to take some getting used to. Right now it feels horrible because we've had a whole 6-7 years of playing Pro Evo one way with very minor tweaks, and so this is the biggest change we've had in a long time. Like the close control dribbling being shifted away from R2 to being on the right stick was weird enough. They've completely changed how we sprint, mapping that with
that
double
shit got
tapping.
changed straight away for me. I was like, yep, where's the mapping? Let me move
I'm willing to give it a go. It's weird. but I'm willing to give it a go because, like, back in college, I studied game development, and a big part of that was ergonomics. And there are a lot of controls in video games that feel weird at first and make so much sense as you get deeper into the game. And there's so much time and study that goes into that. I'm always willing to give it a go. And if it's bad, then I'll shift it. Like FIFA controls don't work for me at all. Like, ergonomically, I feel like they're absolutely horrible. But then, had I not played Pro Evo so much in those kind of formative footballing years, maybe that have made more sense. Who knows? But I'm willing to give this a go, because not playing it, taking that time away and going back and reading it, especially in doing my homework for this podcast here, it makes for good reading. But as a gameplay experience, if I was to judge that if I was to judge the gameplay on the new football online performance test, I'd sack it off immediately. It felt sluggish. It felt broken.
Yeah.
But this is, I've got to remind myself, this is not final gameplay. It's not final gameplay. It's not final graphics. It's not final anything. So if that gets tightened up, to say cautiously optimistic is a massive understatement. Very, very cautious. But I would like to think with the 2 years they've had, they've given this some real thought and said, okay, no, all this needs to change and we're doing the right thing here and taking the big uncomfortable leaps as opposed to little gradual ones. If that is the case and that's what they do, I've said before when they announced that they were doing the season update, if they're going to use that break to give us bigger jumps in improvements in gameplay, in content as well. Obviously, we can't speak on that in what is essentially a beta test. But if we can get all those big jumps, I'm more than happy to have release season update as a thing going forward. More than happy, rather than playing the same game for 4 years and having marginal incremental updates that really don't change much. So yeah, that's my long convoluted take on that.
Well, the good thing is, obviously, to the total flip side of the coin, Barry, you mentioned you played it quite extensively. What was your thought? I mean, again, as we said, we all know that this is not the final game. We all know this is early build of a product that we're going to eventually get, which will have all the bells and whistles and stuff. But from what you just played, what was your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it was fine. I thought like it was exactly what it said on the tin. So I mean, I wasn't expecting to go in. I kind of knew from like when I knew from the first game, I was like, okay, there's no way that this is like representative of what we're going to be playing. So
please,
straight away. And I guess we're probably in a privileged enough position that we've played early versions of PES. All of us have played, whether it's at E3, whether it's at PES days, and like it's mad how some people can't like differentiate between what they want and like what the game actually is. I mean, you have to judge the game on what it is. I always remember Asim telling me like about the nets, and the lads would probably know as well. Like PES fans used to give out about the nets, like and it used to be a topic of like that the nets wouldn't fucking swing the right way or like bounce the ball.
To this day, I cannot understand the obsession with it. It's something that happens for 0.5%.
Yeah, the physics
of the game.
The net physics is a big thing, but like I'd say based on what the boys are saying, I probably played the most. I played a lot of games where I was trying to match up with the lads. So like I was going into matchmaking, match fixing, to test out things and just play against no opposition, really testing things out and stuff, and just seeing what the core game is there. And like there is some lovely like things there. It's just like nowhere near like finalized, like in my opinion. Like is there some things I don't like? Yeah, there's some things I don't like, but for instance, I like the pace of the game. I like the kind of the tackling that you know, that it was a bit it was a bit rewarding, and like that it punished you for, you know, I could see people being punished if they just wanted to hold X, as Nico said at the start, and it's literally like a home missile into the opponent, you know, where it just goes straight to the ball. But again, I separated it very clearly that this wasn't going to be gameplay representative. I had some good games, like where I could, you know, pass the ball around and stuff. And at the end of the day, I mean, it's, you know, it's a football video game. I mean, you're going to have a small bit of fun no matter what, but it's hard. It's very hard to give an opinion on it, because like, if this game was to come out this way, I don't think anyone could defend it. Like, you know, I don't think any of us could sit here, and even the biggest fanboys couldn't say like, oh, it's fantastic, like it's a revolutionary. They'd be like, no, like, look, it's not a game for 2021.
It's not a finished game.
No, it's not. I mean, if you were to hold this up side by side with NBA 2K on the PS5 at the moment, or even, you know, FIFA or a couple of other games, like it, you know, it doesn't look, but then obviously the beta is not fully finished. So like I did enjoy some games. I mean, I enjoyed scoring a couple of goals once you get the hang of the shooting and you're holding the R2. It's just weird, man. It's just different. And as the lad said, like, it's a massive departure from, you could pick up PES 5, 6, whatever, all the way back. And the only thing really different, I would say, is the 360 dribbling. You just fall into old habits of playing it the way you used to play it back.
Exactly.
You know, I've often gone back and played the old games. I'm sure the lads have as well. But this felt very different to me, and that could be a good thing or it could be a bad thing. Who knows? But yeah. And again, any of the lads I've talked to, any of my, you know, my PES mates or whatever, like they're completely split down the middle. I know Weza and me, you know, we had kind of a big discussion about it, and a couple of other lads, and they were like, nah, like it's, you know, there's no like Weza couldn't get a game for ages, so that was a connection issue. But then when he did, he was kind of saying the same as me, that there's a brilliant base here, but some of the stuff isn't good enough in this day and age, some of the mechanics and stuff. But I just, again, it goes back to, I know it's kind of a cop out of an answer, but like, I just know for a fact this isn't going to be the game that comes out at launch. So it's very hard for me to say the players don't move realistically, or, you know, Messi's face is shit or whatever like that, because it's like, well, this isn't going to be what comes out, you know. And I feel sorry for Konami that way, that it's going to be judged before it comes out, because we had a big thing in the community a couple of years back with one of the demos. I think it was 2018, or it was a beta.
It was great.
Yeah, and everyone still talks about this as the golden goose or whatever, the holy grail of PES, and it was like,
2019 that had the we got an amazing test build. Then there was the online beta, which was just incredible, and then the actual game was awful.
The Japanese they like it, change it.
But that came from feedback. That's why that changed it. Like the big thing that people don't.
That's a very interesting point you make about feedback. You know, that Konami don't tend to have a vision for the game. They make something and then they make loads of tweaks based on feedback. But there's a lot of different feedback that gets sent back to them. You know, what I want from the game is not necessarily what Barry wants from the game. It's not necessarily what Ash wants from the game. So if you take an amalgamation of all of that, you're not always going to get good results. So it's a difficult one, because obviously you want to take on board what the community is saying, but I have seen it ruin versions of PES before, where I felt that the game has been great, and then feedback is given, and then there's a data pack, and then I'm like, oh, I don't like this anymore. Like, this is, you know, I was enjoying it before that, but then other people then start to like it. It's weird, you know, and it's, you know, it's not something that's unique to PES. This happens in first-person shooters. This happens to FIFA. This happens all over the place. But it's just it's an interesting thing that they need to go through.
And I think it's weird though, because Nico, we'll get to your gameplay thoughts in a minute. I played it a lot, but what happened was I stopped during lockdown. I was playing eFootball 2021 My Club co-op, right? I think that was the most fun I was having with 2021. But then there was a big gap. I stopped playing it. Obviously, when the PS5 came out, I was like, okay, I'm done. I'm waiting for whatever we're going to get in the future. So there was that nice gap of me to kind of lose my habits from what I was doing. So when the new football game online performance test came out, I was like, right, let's do this. I'm ready.
Okay.
Let's go. And I went with an open mind because I thought to myself, okay, I know what I'm going to expect from this. You know what I mean? I know what this means. I've been in the industry for years. It's going to be great in areas. It's going to be bad in a lot of areas. So I went in there and I was playing it. And just as I expected, there was moments where it was so shit. I wanted to throw my DualSense controller at my OLED TV. That's how angry I got, you know.
You was ready to splash money.
That's it, man. I wanted to, like, I was screaming because the connection would break or it would disconnect for an online performance test. I've never been disconnected so many times, and I've got ridiculous Virgin broadband.
See, mine was decent. Mine was
that was
good.
it. It was weird. It was weird. But then on the opposite to that, there was just moments of awe, and it was like there was rough diamond moments to me. Like there was something in there, and I was finding it. And there were some games where it just felt like, oh my God, I haven't felt that in a PES game for so long. And it happened by mistake. It didn't feel like it happened by a script and things like that. And that's something I'm so used to over the years now.
That's the PES magic, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And
are we going to really Alfa Romeo this up? Like, PES players are just Alfa Romeo drivers, aren't we? That's what it is. It's like, we can't explain it, but there's just passion in this.
Exactly. And that was it. It was the best example I can give is like you're playing 2021 or 2020, something happens and you know it's about to happen before it happens because you know the script, you know PES, you know how the
deja vu, like
the mechanics work.
Yeah,
but there was things happening in this demo that I just came out of the blue, and I was just like, oh my God, oh what? And as you said, Nico, there was core elements to that PES magic, and I want to believe in that side. I'm, as Ash said, I'm distantly, cautiously optimistic about what I'm going to get. You know, I know it's going to be a massive difference. I just really want them to give me that, what I was having in small moments and small doses of that performance test. I was having great
Imagine
moments.
This is the one year where they keep it consistent.
It'd be a great year because it's a new beginning. It's a new generation. It's a new start. And I took into account, I was like, okay, the one thing that Konami, yes, they've had 2 years, but they've built PES on a whole new engine as well. So, okay.
Also, global pandemic. Yeah, it's not easy to do this stuff from home.
No, of course not.
Exactly. I get that. But I'm so passionate about this brand and this product, and I will tell it like it is. I will, if I find it rubbish, I just don't play the game. You know what I mean? I'm like, okay, that's fine. And it's weird though, because it shows how passionate the PES community is, because I know every single year, like clockwork, there are so many FIFA players that are doing the exact same thing we are doing. They are shitting on that game because it is not giving them what they want. And they just don't play it. But then, obviously, we're a more passionate vocal community where we will say, we're so passionate, we want to say it. We want to tell people what we think and things like that. And then there's a lot of FIFA streamers who will do the same if they financially are allowed to. You know, that's a whole nother bag of beans. But Nico, you played the game as well. What did you think?
Yeah, I mean, I literally played about 2 or 3 games. You know, I didn't put too much into it because, like we've all said, this isn't the game. You know, this isn't what we're going to see. You know, come whenever it's released. I just wanted to see the presentation stuff that I'd seen screenshots of and just get a general little feel for it. I don't think I played enough to give any kind of like knowledgeable feedback on the gameplay. I will say the online aspect was fine for me, but again, similar to what Ash said, I'm not going to be playing this game online. Even when I play my club, I just do the offline games. Honestly, it's my club for me is like fantasy building, and then I just play the computer with those, you know, those offline tournaments that they do. I do not play online. 1, because I'm shit. 2, because
I love your honesty, bro. I love your honesty.
Well, I mean,
it's fair. Like,
I can play Superstar and all that, but playing online, it just doesn't happen. And then I get frustrated, and then I get angry. And it's not a cycle I like to repeat. You know.
Nah, true.
But also, you know, generally online hasn't been very good in terms of stability. You know, the few times I do play it online, and then, you know, I'm trying to make what I think is a very simple pass, and then the game starts stuttering, and then suddenly the ball is on the other side of the pit. It's just, you know, it is historically been pretty messy at points. Maybe I've just had bad luck with it, but I will be playing it online. So for me, it wasn't representative of what I'm hoping to see regardless. Even if this was the final game, it being online, the game is different. Like it's played differently online than it is against the AI. Like that is just without doubt, right? So I played it really simply. I didn't think to myself, oh, I should get to grips with it now because it will help me when the next demo comes out, because I know it's just not going to be the same.
Which is in the FAQ on the website as well, saying that nothing is carrying over. Don't expect anything to feel the same and things like that, which again could be communicated in the core test, when you load.
I mean, absolutely, that should be there on there.
Yeah.
I mean, technically, this game does not say PES on it. It doesn't say eFootball.
Sure.
It just says new football.
We don't even know that it's going to be called PES 2020 at this point. I mean, PES 2022 at this point. We don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
Konami have bought pure football from Ubisoft. That's what it really is, The funny thing is, you look at Square, whenever Square release a demo or pre-release or anything like that, they plaster it on every single even when you're playing the game, you get a random pop-up saying this is not representation, and
there's hard work that's gone into this stuff by people, regardless of whether it's good or bad, people have still worked hard on it. And you let it fly under the radar like this and people will just shit on it, like we said. They're not going to take it seriously. I know we already talked about it, but you just needed to give everyone a heads up, and you could build hype. It's very, very easy. FIFA did it the other day. They said trailer coming out on the 11th. And then on the 11th, I was there Googling, oh, is the trailer out? Yeah, I want to see the trailer. I want to hear about the features. And, they had a stream set to premiere in 6 hours from the time I checked. Great. I know in 6 hours, I'm going to be back here. I'm going to be watching the trailer because I want to know what's coming. Fine, the trailer was rubbish, but they then laid out some, it's just the general PR trailer, it's whatever. They laid out some of the features coming out, which, a couple of them sound really good. So now there's a little bit of hype. The game is out to pre-order, on the PlayStation Store and elsewhere. They built their hype. And I know they're EA and they're not Konami. It's very, very different companies. But they do the same thing. They both release football games,
Can I throw a question back at you guys? Do you think Konami are confident about this new game?
I want to say no, because I don't feel like they've been confident in a PES for a while.
Just from what you were just saying then about obviously comparing it to FIFA, obviously its biggest rival and stuff. And I hadn't even thought about it, but you're right, that all that they're building hype, and you build hype around something that you believe in. Because you can't build hype around something that you don't back.
EA can't go wrong with FIFA. They can't not sell. They can't make money. Like, it's easy.
Yeah, they put out bad games for a while, but they're still confident enough in knowing that they have a product that people are going to buy into. So they will promote the living daylights out of that. I don't feel like Konami feel good about this game, because we've had nothing, not just about this test. We've had absolutely nothing. We've had screenshots.
No. We know that on the 27th, there will be some kind of reveal. And I'm hoping at that point.
21st, though.
Or was it 21st?
I think it's 21st. 21st.
And he said 27th. I had to Google it. I was like, Nico's chatting.
That's the anniversary date.
That's waffling, blood.
I thought I heard 27 the first time. I'm just fucking tired.
I've said 27 like 10 times in this, and no one corrected me earlier.
Sorry, I was wrong out. The comments get you.
I think that's the anniversry date, isn't it?
Yeah, 21st. 21st
day.
Nico, you've got all that Italy celebration booze still in you.
Yeah, it's still bubbling.
To
answer your question, Show, like, I do think that they, like, I don't know, maybe they're not confident in like what they've released so far, but I do think that, I mean, they have to be confident in what they're going to be, what this will eventually become, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think it could take a patch or two, as it always does. But
can that be okay this time? They've had 2 years.
I mean, I don't know.
This has got to hit the ground running. Like,
I agree. Yeah, I do agree with that. But I think that they're probably confident in. I think, as you guys said about FIFA, like FIFA is just in a completely different, like, it's not even like, yeah, they're both video games, yeah, they're both football games, yeah, they battle each other for licenses and exclusives and all that, but like comparing, PES and FIFA nowadays, like, it's kind of like comparing Apple iPhones, that they're literally, FIFA just printing money with no matter what they bring out. Now, I don't play enough FIFA to maybe make that statement, as in, I'm not going to say it's shit or whatever. I just don't play FIFA, like, because it's not, I don't have time. Like, I wouldn't have time to play both games every year as much as I play PES and involved with PES. But like, I just think that FIFA has found found what sells for them and what works for them. And fair play to them. Like, it's unbelievable. It's massive. Like, it's such a massive brand now.
World, isn't it?
Yeah,
So,
I've played a lot of FIFA this past year because they released the next gen game. Next gen.
It looks unreal on next gen. I must say, it looks class.
And I wanted a football game, and I didn't want to play a rehashed PES, so I played a lot of FIFA, and I've enjoyed it, with the caveat that I know what it is.
Yeah,
it's not. If I had to pick everything I wanted in a football game, it has 7 out of 10 of those things. But what it does do well, it does incredibly well.
Yeah,
and gameplay wise, it does the job. It's fine. It doesn't, it's not a glowing review. It's fine. It's better than it used to be.
The thing about it, I find, is like, you don't need to. People sometimes get a bit bogged down. It's like, you don't need to shit on FIFA to like PES or to be a PES fan, and vice versa. Like, I'd never shit on FIFA, like, because a lot of my mates in real life play it. That, like, if I'm over at their house and I'm watching it, I'm not like, I'm not watching that. Like, as if I'm above it. Like, like FIFA. I mean, FIFA is a very successful game, and it's
for a reason.
Yeah,
it's called FIFA.
I mean, it has some excellent things to it. Yeah, it has some excellent things to it, but I think we need to get away from that, as that, like, I like PES, so I can't like FIFA. I mean, I like Burger King and I like McDonald's. It doesn't mean I need to...
mate, get out of it. Come on. The thing is, though, we're in a community of football fans, and sports fans in general are tribalist. And tribalism is going to go over any kind of logic, any kind of sensible thought or sentiment or anything like that. It's going to be, well, I've assigned myself here. You are historically the ops. You are not who we're cool with, and there's no way we can coexist. This town's only big enough for the two of us. And even if you're the smallest fish in the pot,
that happens within the PES community as well.
Oh yes,
you guys want to better than most. You know what I'm talking about.
I know exactly what you're alluding to.
If you look at it, though, like, if you think about it in the video game industry, your two biggest tribalism is PlayStation versus Xbox. Second would be the football games. You know what I mean? Because only, and third would be, I play COD or I hate COD. That's it. There's nothing else that has.
A couple of years ago, I had ITV contact me and ask me to comment on the whole FIFA versus PES debate.
Big shot.
They called me one of the leading players in Europe, and I was like, I didn't say that. I didn't say that, but if you want to call me that, I'll say it.
I know what happened, Nico. You sent them a gameplay video, and they were like, "Actually, don't worry, Nico. It's all good, man. Don't worry."
It was.
But Ash, going on about what you said as well. Do I think Konami are confident? I think they are, or they were, pre-COVID, pre-lockdown. I think they're not. I think personally, development, they're not where they want to be because of everything that's delayed them. Because you don't reveal your trailer with the Messi walking in. You don't go do the press statement and really, really early in advance to say we're taking a year out. But I think COVID has knocked them back, and I think they are nervous. I think who wouldn't be? You're about to show something big. I think FIFA are they're a week and a half ahead. They've done their reveal, and I think it's better to judge where PES is to FIFA once Konami have matched them and done their full reveal.
Yeah. That year out as well. That's a lot of pressure.
But that's the big thing. This is the big thing, though, right? Because Ash said it best. It's the level of expectancy now by having that year out is so high now because if it was just a year thing, we're like, yeah, what can you do in a year? But there's that extra year of development. And yes, it's a new engine, but it's a new engine that is universally used in the industry to high regard and high degree, you know. So to have that extra year now, to have a new PlayStation console as well, our level of expectancy is so high. I think personally, I don't think the Japanese side of Konami realized that okay, you cannot play by the same rules with this particular entry because our expectations are different, what we want to see is different, and as you say, FIFA goes from strength to strength. You know, it's bringing in more people, they're pushing the marketing, and they're on a new generation, and they're talking about all their new features. I think after the 21st, we'll have a better idea, because we might be coming back here on the 22nd. Oh my God, it's everything we want. You know, or we might come back and like just let Ash have a PES fan TV, you know what I mean? And just let him run. But
it's time to go.
But I mean, Barry, gameplay mechanics, balancing, animations, graphics are all under development and will be improved before official launch. That is the statement from Konami. What are you expecting from the reveal?
I think they just need to lay out their plan and show, like, as we mentioned earlier, I think it's time now for Konami to just like go with their vision, and like people are either going to jump on board with it or they're going to jump off, and that's the way it needs to be. I don't want it to be a halfway house. Like, I want them to come out and say, listen, this is what the title previously known as PES, or whatever way we want to describe what Konami's football game is. This is what it is. It's not PES 5. It's not, you know, going back to Castolo and the boys. It's this. This is what we're focusing on. We're focusing on content. We're focusing on online stability. Whatever it is, whatever they're focusing on, I would like them to just come out and be confident. And in the same way that Fortnite is not a game that I play, like, at least they embrace like what Fortnite is. You know, I see LeBron James is in the game now today, like, and it's like, okay, like, it's just crazy, you know. But like, if they want to, I just think they need to pick their direction and go with it, and just say, like, look, this is what we are now. This is where we're going with it. And like, I know it's very, like, I don't know, like, insensitive to fans that have played the game forever. And I'd never say this in a serious manner, but like, I don't play games that aren't for me. I don't play games that I don't enjoy. I mean, time is too precious, like, and you know what I mean? Like, I don't understand why, why somebody would sit there playing something that's not for them. Like, it's as simple as that. I mean, I know you're a massive Destiny fan, Nico. I played it at launch, played the first game, fell out, you know, fell off it, never went back to it. It's not that I didn't enjoy it or whatever, but that's what I would like to see from Konami. If it was me, I'd say, listen, this is what it is. We're going to embrace what we're trying to build here. Those that are going to love that and embrace it with them, to have a load of, you know, options in the game, content, and to have the gameplay there. And I think in the reveal, they need to do that. They need to like spell out exactly what PES 22 is going to be, when it's coming out. And if they don't have everything ready for reveal yet, have a roadmap and say, listen, we're going to make another announcement, Gamescom, August. Tell people exactly what it is. Like, no more of this, you know, coming soon type of stuff. Like the time is now to just come out. And if they announce that PES 2022 is a remaster of PES 5, like, let's just say something crazy, right? Embrace that and go with it, and just that would be it. And or if it's, you know, a brand new direction, whatever it is, people are going to embrace it. But I don't want Konami, like, you know, doubling back and saying, okay, people are complaining that the game is, you know, too challenging now, you know, or whatever. Like, we have to change this. We have to speed up defenders.
That's
like, I want them to come developers out. Yeah, because in fairness, looking across the pond to FIFA, like, FIFA is a brand now, like, in more, it's more than a video game, right? It embraces Ultimate Team. It embraces crazy stuff. I mean, I see the EA Sports official Twitter account tweeting out some crazy goals that are like, look, they don't even look, you know, representative of real football ever. You know what I mean? If you were to do it in a Hollywood movie. But they embrace it and they say, like, look, this is what FIFA is. Some people love that. Some people don't. There's enough people that love it that make them one of the most successful, you know, like, or make it one of the most successful games ever. So that's what I want. I just want to know what it is so that I can make a full opinion on it, that I'm not waiting. It's like, yeah, but we'll know more in 3 months' time. And it's like, no, tell us what it is. tell us what you're doing,
Mhm.
so that everyone that is anybody in the PES community can say, yeah, look, I like the sound of this, and I like the footage I've seen, I like what I've played, and this looks good. Or else they can say, no, I mean, this isn't PES to me, this isn't what I grew up playing, I'm off the boat. Okay, like either one is fine. You don't have to have an allegiance to something that you're not enjoying. Like, it's just, I don't know, it's like, I could talk about it all day, but it's very simple to me that if you don't, you know, I mean, the missus is below watching Love Island. I'm not going to sit down there and shit on it, watching her watch Love Island and saying,
Yeah.
you know, why are you watching this? Like, why not watch something? It's like, she, you know, she's enjoying it. So like, let her off. I can just come up here and talk shite with you guys. You know what I mean? Like, it's not, you know, it's not like, you know, it's not.
Yeah. No, I've
don't know.
I've said the same thing to various effects and had various responses of, you know, people who will literally almost make a career of complaining about Pro Evo. And it's like, and my thing is, if you're not enjoying it, take a break.
Yeah.
And it will range from me talking to my mates and fellow content creators, say, yo, just take some time away from it. This clearly isn't doing you any good. Like, I've had so many like Discord phone calls with David saying, bro, just leave it for a month. Like, you turn on OBS and you're furious for the next 48 hours. Like, just leave it. To literally just, you know, talk to people who, you know, literally just rant and rave and swear at the devs every 2 minutes, and like, listen, just stop playing, or play a different mode, or play a different game. Like, why are you spending your time, your money, your resources being angry? Like, just stop. Like, because not only is it making yourself riled up, every second that you play the game, particularly online, sends data back to the developers. The more that game gets played, that feeds back a positive metric that we're doing something that is keeping concurrent players, that you are just a +1.
And we've heard that directly from Adam. Adam has told us everything they do is backed up by stats.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, I remember when, oh God, what year was it?
2020.
I want to say 2019, where when my club first dropped, we could see the stats of how many people were playing on this little ticker bar at the bottom. It was a new thing they'd added. And then they got rid of it because at first, obviously launch week or whatever, it was like hundreds of thousands of people playing at a time. And then after it started to tail off, it was like, okay, we've got 15,000 people online right now. And it's kind of like, all right, this isn't
not good.
Like, which, I mean, it's completely understandable. You're going to get more on launch, but it's still. But those metrics there, that's what the bean counters are looking at, saying, okay, are people playing our game? Yes. That doesn't tell you whether people are enjoying the game or not. That number one that you are in, that 15,000, 20,000, 100,000, doesn't factor in the fact that you've been screaming down your microphone, doesn't factor in the fact that you've broken your controller, doesn't factor in the fact that you've tweeted online that you hate the game, or any of that. All it factors in is that you're playing. And the more you play, the more that justifies what they're doing. If you don't like it, it's the same as people say, you know, vote with your wallet. You're not going to buy something that you don't like. Vote with your time as well. If you're not enjoying it, step back. Literally step back. There are so many other games that you can play. And, you know, this isn't me being in people's pockets saying, hey, why don't you own 1 million games? Go play something for free, or just don't play games. Just ease off for a little bit. Like, rather than, it's literally, I can't stress this enough. The more you play the game, the more you're telling them that this is correct.
It's so funny, Ash, because as you were talking then, all I was thinking was Far Cry 3 and the definition of insanity. You know, you do the same thing over and over again, hoping for a different result.
Yeah.
It's like the digital version of that. You're playing the same game over and again, trying to enjoy what you already don't enjoy. You know, it's just
Yeah,
it's the definition
100%.
of insanity. You
It's
know,
not going to change.
But I mean, so I can gauge from you, Ash, then for the reveal, you want to see a confident and some bravado from Konami, don't you?
Yeah, but well placed. You know, don't be out here like, hey, yo, look what I've got, and it's a steaming pile of shit. Like, you know, I want to see, yeah, definitely some confidence in there. I want to see. I need them to really hammer home. You know, this is the game you played before. This is what is different. This is new. This is new. This is new. This is new. This is what you asked for. This is what we've delivered. Just literally straight in people's face with it. Here is everything. Give people something to be excited about. Here's how we've spent the last 2 years. We sold you the same game twice. Yes, at a discount, but we sold you the same game twice because we said we were going to deliver something bigger and better, new engine, new game, new everything. Here is what we've done. Here's why you're going to love it. And I really, really need this game to be good because, I mean, Barry and Nico will tell you, I've also taken a year out of content creating for PES just because I've been playing the game. Don't get me wrong. I'm like 7 years into a Master League with AC Milan. But from a community standpoint, the worst situation that the game is in, it breeds and it bleeds into the community, and people don't enjoy it, and that negativity seeps back in, and no one wants to be around that, apart from the people who literally monetize that. But generally, you know, you don't want that. I want this game to be good. I want to make content for it again. I've had people reach out and ask, you know, are you making content again? You know, what's the situation? And my response to them has been just, I need the game to be good. I want people to feel good about this, because if I'm putting content out to a community and I'm trying to get them to engage with what I'm doing, and I'm putting my own energy out there and getting that energy back, I'm not going to sit down for hours on end to an audience of pissed off people who are going to tell me how pissed off they are in the comments.
That ties into what Barry was saying about let us know what the game is.
Yeah,
then
absolutely.
You can make your decision. Content creators can make their decision on, am I going to cover this game? And a big one for PES, kit makers. You know, there's the last 2 or 3 years specifically.
Oh, they left
people who would make kits religiously for this game have had to ask themselves, am I investing this year? Am I putting in all the time and the effort to put something out there to people, to spend my free, because people do it out of their own free time. You know, no one gets paid for this stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, we talk about, man, I make millions. Come on.
I mean, Nico, whenever a new Call of Duty comes out, they have like a 1 hour show to reveal everything in ultra detail. Destiny, they announce a date and they go into detail on a reveal.
Get a roadmap, get everything.
FIFA, they've obviously just had this short trailer and stuff, but we know that there's a lot more coming because it's like EA month with EA Play and things like that. What are you expecting in terms of length and content from the reveal?
I'm not expecting a lot, to be honest with you. And I don't mean to say that in like a negative way. No, I think we may get some written stuff. We may get a very short,
hopefully, like
teaser trailer. I don't think it's going to show that much gameplay. I think it is going to be. I think it's going to be a launch, not like an announcement of the game, as opposed to this is all the stuff. I think they'll follow up maybe Gamescom with more information. What they really need to put out there is a release date. We need to know when the game's coming, because people have told us now. I mean, and that's very possible. That is very possible. But if they want to keep people engaged and they want people to make a decision, because people are going to start making decisions. FIFA's out to pre-order. So they need to know, okay, well, FIFA's coming out October. PES is coming out in November. Oh, maybe I can buy both. Maybe I could do one with my October pay, one with my November pay. But, you know, if it's the same month, some people can't afford to do that. And people make these decisions early on. So they need to give people the knowledge. So if they're only buying one game and they know when both games are coming out, they can make the decision. They're only buying one game and they don't know when PES is coming out, but they know when FIFA's coming out. They're probably going to go with FIFA. You know, like from a, you know, for those people who are undecided, like obviously there are the people who are going to buy PES and there are the people who will buy FIFA no matter what. But there is that middle base that don't know yet. They need more information.
It's crazy. So, that middle ground that you're talking about, that should we call it the grey area?
Yeah.
That's growing, which is weird to think that, and it's growing from both sides, but a lot from the FIFA side of things. There's a lot of discontent with FIFA. Weirdly, from offline players, which I've been playing for the last few days, I've been playing a fair bit of FIFA 21 career mode. If they think that's threadbare, wait till they touch Master League. Like it's because
I've enjoyed
we've got nothing new.
I've done loads of career
mode. It's like, bro, go play this Master League thing. Like, there's fuck all.
You can do training drills. You've got season, you've got national team, right? Like there is a base to their career. Yes, of course, it could have more. Of course. But it has everything that you need to play 5, 6, 7 seasons. Maybe not the 20 that I did, back in the day on Master League, but I put in 7 or 8 seasons this year on FIFA's career mode because it does the job, and I never feel like there's anything like massively missing, like nothing key. Master League is so it's
threadbare.
It's boring, like it is.
It relies on your own creativity.
Awful, like
your imagination when you go to.
I tried to start a Master League last week because Euro's going on, all hyped up for the football. I thought, let me get in there because what PES does incredibly well is the likeness of players. The player faces are insane. So okay, great. I'm gonna start one with United, sign Sancho, sign Grealish, do all this bullshit that I'd love us to do in real life, but don't. And I tried to sign Grealish, and he'd only let me sign him if I gave him a release clause that was lower than the amount I was signing him for.
Yes.
I was like, how is that? That doesn't make any sense. Like, it's, that is such a key thing because now it's like, okay, I can sign him. Next season, someone signs him and I make a loss.
Yeah.
I have no say in it.
Yeah.
And if I don't do that, I can't sign him.
And and then like there's a way around it because of course I know that because it's me. But it's completely immersion breaking. So like you sign that player for whatever release clause they want, sign them on a really short contract, and then renew their contract 6 months in time, and then ramp up that release clause and offer them a load more money. But it's like knowing that I can do that.
That's the type of thing
makes me feel like I'm playing a video game. I'm not this superstar manager that I feel like I should be.
Yeah, I mean, you shouldn't have to do stuff like that anyway.
Yeah,
like, you just shouldn't.
I'm Shogun Ash. I took QPR to the Champions League final. I'm not. I don't want to be Ash Francis with a control pad in his hand. Right?
That's it. Well, with that being said, guys, we've gone way over the 30 minutes.
I know.
I said right. That's what PES does. That's what PES does, right? It's great. We get together and talk, but with the reveal, I want to come back to this. One prediction of what you think Konami will say or they will show. And we will start with you, Barry, because I know you've probably got a list of like you're gonna roll out the list of what do I want, right? And then...
No, I think they're gonna show a gameplay trailer.
Okay, nice.
That's what I think, and I think they'll show a gameplay trailer and pretty much come out and say that they're gonna probably show more details at Gamescom. Pretty much what they've done up to now, but I think that they will show a nice gameplay kind of trailer. I know FIFA did the kind of CGI / real footballers type one yesterday. That was pointless in my opinion, but I think Konami need to come out and just say, look, this is what the game looks like gameplay wise, where we're at now, and then just announce. I'd love to be as, like what Nico was saying, I'd love to announce the release date. I don't think that they'll do that. I think that they'll show a gameplay reveal, and then they'll say more information coming, and then have a couple, maybe have like a press release.
So I've got Barry gameplay. I've got Barry gameplay trailer and Gamescom announcement. Nico, what's your prediction? What are we gonna see?
I think we'll get a release date.
Or
at least I hope we'll get a release date.
No, you can't change it now.
No, fine. Release date.
Leave hope at the door. This is PES.
One of the reasons why I'm not sure if we'll see gameplay trailers because the guy who did them, a superb guy, Whedon's, he left recently. And I mean, either they replaced him with someone already, but I don't know. Konami historically haven't been great at getting people in after people leave quickly. Sure. So
yes,
I just think. I think it'll, like I say, it'll be an announcement of the game. Like the game officially exists. Here's when it comes out. Learn more at such and such date.
Ash, what's the one thing? What's your prediction? I've got Barry with gameplay trailer and Gamescom announcement, and I've got Nico with release date.
I think they'll tease a major feature. Either I feel like there's going to be like maybe a new mode, or they're going to say they've massively enhanced a certain mode, and they'll probably drop like a cliffhanger, a little bit of gameplay. Probably allude to the fact that, you know, obviously there's new dribbling controls and things like that, and then more Gamescom and probably a date as well.
Maybe a cover star.
Why you stealing my thunder, bro? You're stealing my thunder. Thanks, mate. Edit. Well, okay. You're not going to see Griezmann at any point in this trailer or review.
Well, we're not, because he's been, you know, have you heard about what's happened with Griezmann?
I was going for the obvious one. So, I think the official cover star is going to come out, and I don't think Messi is the front and center star. I don't think it's him. I really, really, really want it to be Rashford now. So both FIFA and PES have penalty misses on the cover. You know, I think that would be quite cool. Both missed penalties, but I think you'll get the cover star. But again, everything you guys have said is a big thing. I think Master League is going to be the big focus. I hope.
I don't.
Pray.
I
hope.
I would be.
League, but I think
I would love it to be. Obviously, from a selfish standpoint, like forget everyone else who plays the game. I want Master League, but just from a business point, and obviously Konami are very much in a situation where they need to handle business, and have been for a while. Online makes money. Master League doesn't. It's why they don't invest in it. I really hope they prove me wrong. I would love them to prove me wrong. Please clip this and send it me a million times if they do, because I will watch every single one back.
Excellent.
I don't think
it makes sense. Okay, so really quick questions that some obviously PES fans have asked. So we've got Lee from he's from Edinburgh. Your favorite PES game of all time? One, Barry. One. I know you're going to say one, but then you're going to say in the PS5. Nice. Nico.
Easy option.
6. These are the golden days, right? PES 6.
3. Just because there's a lot of memories to 3 for me, man.
6 for me.
6. Weirdly
3
enough,
would have been my other option.
No, it was the big leap from 2. Okay, Simon from Torquay asks, actually, I'll ask that one last. So this one is from Harry from North London. Thoughts on FIFA 2022 hypermotion tech? Really quick. Nico.
I'll wait and see. It means nothing to me until I can try it.
Is that the same for you? Yeah.
Fair. I mean, it sounds good. It sounds good, but I mean, it's buzzwords, you know, up to now. So
that's it. Yeah. Seems like a good idea. It reads well, but we'll see.
If there's one thing EA Sports and Konami have in tandem, it's buzzwords, man. They can do that. You know what I mean? They're amazing from it. And going back to Simon and Torquay, if you could change one thing in PES for 2022, what would it be? One thing. So you can't say 5. It can either be a gameplay, aesthetic, visual, mode. What would it be?
Content.
Yeah, I'd say content as well. Online content from my club, definitely. Sorry, Ash, I had to take your point.
No, it's fine. It's fine, man.
I won't go into a big thing on it, but to be honest with you, presentation, I wanted to stop looking like a Japanese game. I wanted to start looking Western. I wanted to...
Yeah, do they not do graphic design in Japan? Like, but they do. They've got so many things that look great in Japan, and then just video game
for whatever reason, video games, they always look the same. But FIFA are smashing it with their presentation. Absolutely smashing it. FIFA PES need to get the licensing from like BN Sports or BT Sports somewhere. Get some licensing from someone else who will do it for you.
Careful, mate, because careful because we might get the Al Jazeera presentations and stuff like that. You know, it's cheaper.
Listen, as long as we get the commentators as well, I'm with it.
Go, 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 go,
go, go, go, go, go, go,
Yeah.
go, go, go.
I think,
To be honest with you,
yeah,
but yeah, it's looks and aesthetic.
I think for me, I mean, content is always king, right? That's what we want as well. But I think one thing that detaches me when I play the game is it's the stadiums and the atmosphere around it. Like Master League, I can create so much imagination in my head because of what's actually happening. I need to win the game. You know, I want to know what's happening in the game, but I want the crowd. I want the crowd. Like you look at NBA 2K, people getting up to go to like the bathroom or get something like that. Ridiculous. You know, and it immerses you in it so much more with the crowd. And you look at the evolution of like the WWE games and things like that, and the crowd make a difference. And I miss the flares and stuff. You know, I want PES to have the passion on the screen as I'm playing it. I want it to organically react to a near miss, or if you know how they always talk about, if you remember a few years ago, oh, the derby match will change. You'll have that feel in it. I want to be losing with 10 minutes left, and I want my fans to change. You know, I want them to like start going crazy as I'm playing because it lifts me up. You know, things like that. I want that
absolutely
in the game. You know, I really want to feel.
I mean, imagine if you're playing a game and you're playing really, really cautiously, and it's 0-0 for ages, and the crowd start doing, you know, the Mexican wave. Like you know, like
they do. We heard about they do the Mexican wave in the online test. They're all bouncing like this.
No, I completely agree with you. I just think, you know, you want that feeling of that 12th man. You know, you want it to feel alive, which is, you know, what PES used to feel like. It's used to feel like this living thing where anything can happen, and you know, it's definitely lost that in the modern years, and now I'm more sad because I want those days back.
I just want to say, Ash, imagine if you're in Master League and it's the final day of the season and you're getting like a picture-in-picture, and then the other team has scored and you can see it and it's adding pressure to you.
I love that.
That'd be amazing.
I'm almost certain that was a thing before. There used to be a thing where at halftime you get see what the current score was.
Yeah, you see the current scores. Yeah.
And it happens now, like in
FIFA, they talk about it.
Yeah, it's like, oh, there's been a goal in the Fiorentina match. I'm playing in Syria. There's been a goal in the Fiorentina match. It tells you who scored, what the score is. At halftime, you get from around the grounds, like, and that definitely used to be a feature in Master League. And you'd always keep an eye on, you know, who else was at the top of the table, because those would be the points that would matter to you and whoever you're chasing the title from.
And it's the biggest. It's one of the biggest things in Football Manager. Enthusiasts and players that I know, they always talk about. They're checking scores and they can see a live table and things like that. And you know, with the power of Xbox Series X, PS5, the evolution of PC, picture-in-picture is easy. It's second nature. You don't need to load anything into the screen. The SSD will do it for you. Like, it's just,
Here's the thing why that's so important, though. And it's where that's the biggest thing that probably was lost from what we call the glory days to now, is you feel like you're in a footballing world as opposed to a football match. Now you feel like you're playing a football match. Before, there was an entire footballing universe going on around you, and you were a part of that, and you were trying to make your way to the top of this, and everything was fighting against you. Now you just feel like you're fighting against some code and someone else on the other side of the internet. Like, that's what needs to come back, is, you know, having all of that happening around you. And obviously with their focus on online, I don't think it's going to happen. If it does, please run this clip back.
Worst case scenario, you play with the original lineup and then you get an alert saying Menanda has scored a goal for the team that you're going up against. You're like, oh, you mate, you.
My guy.
But guys, listen, thank you very much for coming on to the PES Supplement. You know, it's just great to be here for you guys to all communicate and talk PES. We'll definitely be back after the reveal. It'll be really interesting to see what predictions came out. They're all written down now, and either Ash is, if he's not happy, he's not even going to turn up the video.
I'm not turning up.
Everything will be smashed behind him and everything, you know, and all that. It'll be crazy. But guys, thank you very much, and listeners, and obviously people who are watching on YouTube. You can go to the description and you can see all the links where you can keep in contact with these guys. But if you don't, Just a shout out from each of you. Barry, where can everybody find you and communicate with you about PES? Hopefully just in a positive way. If it's negative, don't bother, because Barry won't give you any time.
Positive way. That's what I like. Just either probably at PES Universe or at the Midnight Kid on Twitter is probably the best way to find me, to be honest.
Nico, what about yourself?
At Nico_D Maria. Like probably look in the description for the spelling. But yeah, just there. We are hopefully going to make the WENB blog Twitter account a bit more active, because it's kind of a bit of a zombie at the moment.
Well, we're at that time. We got the reveal next week. We're almost there.
Perfect timing.
Come on, man. Get the socials popping, man.
And what about yourself, Ash? Where can everybody find you and chat positive PES?
At Shogun Ash.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent, guys. Thank you very much. And if you want all the latest PlayStation 5 news, hit the @Latest PS5, because I did the smart thing and left Twitter and all those thousands of followers, because you all did my fucking head in about PES, and I was like, don't cuss my game. Thanks, Konami, for the paycheck. But everybody, thank you very much for listening, and we will be back after the reveal to give our thoughts on that. Thank you very much, and only positive comments, please.
Good vibes only.
That's it.